I just want to say this right here before we really pop this thing off. I just want to let y'all know, man, so much different stories was told, so many different scenarios given, so many lies was presented, so many different things were said. But the one thing about life is we're going to come to realize is once something gains enough attention, once it gains the attention of the state and bigger than the local area, people start seeing and people start paying attention. You have people that may have been there that didn't know how to contact the family. You may have people that may have seen something that really don't know who it was. But when you keep your boots on the ground, you keep applying pressure, just maybe, somebody might see you protesting, seeing you advocate, and one day they might be like, oh, bam, bam, that's such and such, 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 such. Oh, that's who that was. That's why I tell people you always got to put your boots on the ground. When you scream justice for Joe, it's no longer just a word, it's a movement. It's a movement. What happened to Dro up on that bridge was no accident, it was more of a tragedy. At this time of bringing the key witness that was there present right beside Dro's side. When he found Dro, the person that's coming on this live, that's already joined this live, his face will not be shown. And we all know why. But he clearly here, able to speak, and don't mind giving his recount of exactly what took place and what happened. And the questions I'm going to ask, and the response he may give, is nothing but the truth. So help him God.
Just when we thought we had heard it all from the story of Tyrone Davis Jr., just when we thought it was over, just when we thought it would all end with the police ruling it an accident and the medical examiner rubber stamping their decision, another witness comes forward. Not just another witness, the first person on the scene, the very first person to lay eyes on Tyrone after he was left on Archer Road in Gainesville. Remember in one of our earlier episodes when the nurse and her husband came forward? They said there was someone who blocked the road with his car, and they joined him. That someone is the witness who has just stepped into the light. What he says today doesn't just confirm everything Polo has been insinuating from the start. It contradicts every single one of Lulu's 3 narrations. It shreds the Gainesville Police Department's claim that this was an accident. And it exposes the medical examiner's report for what it really is. A cover-up dressed up as paperwork. By the way, we all have Polo to thank for the way he has carried this case like Tyrone is his own brother. Like he's part of the Davis family. The Davis family is blessed to have someone like Polo on their side. He has done more than any lawyer, more than GPD, more than any private investigator could have done. He kept the pressure on. He kept the lights on. And now, the truth is walking through that door. Before we go further, this is True Crime Unravelled. And to everyone sending super thanks on YouTube, you are our motivation. You keep this channel alive. You keep these stories from being buried. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now get your cut water. Matter of fact, you need a crate for this one. Because what you're about to hear changes everything. Let's rewind real quick. Just so we're all on the same page. Tyrone Davis Jr. died on December 29th, 2025. His girlfriend Lulu gave 3 different versions of what happened. First, he fell at a gas station and bumped his head. Then, he jumped out of her moving car going 25 miles an hour. Then, he just stepped out and never looked back. 3 stories, 1 dead man, 0 phone calls to his father. There was alleged involvement from Tyrone's best friend Jason, who won't go on camera, won't answer questions, but somehow ended up in the hospital with Lulu according to her own Instagram post. Then there's the mother, Rena Demps. Instead of standing with the Davis family, instead of demanding answers, she told police Lulu was a model girlfriend. She's been fighting the wrong people, accusing Polo of threats that never happened, posting stories defending herself while her son's case goes cold. And let's not forget the money. $250,000 moved from Tyrone's account while he was brain dead. Someone had access. Someone had passwords. Someone was busy while Tyrone fought for his life. The police ruled it an accident. The medical examiner agreed, but they never provided proof. They never pulled camera footage. They never took witness statements. They just closed the file and hoped the family would go away. Then a nurse and her husband came forward. They described a scene that didn't match the official story. And now the man who was there before anyone else, the man who blocked traffic with his own car, is ready to talk. Polo brought him on live. His identity is protected, so we'll call him John Doe. But his words, those belong to the world. Here's how he found Tyrone. When I first pulled up, he was underneath the bridge on Archer Road. I didn't even realize it was a human being at first. There was stuff scattered all over. Pizza, napkins, money blowing around. I thought it was a bag of trash that had blown open. Then I realized it was a whole man laying in the middle of the street. A whole man, laying in the street, with pizza and money scattered around him like debris. I used my car to block traffic and I ran up to him. He was unconscious, but he was breathing. He was groaning. He wasn't awake at all. Think about that. This stranger used his own vehicle to protect Tyrone's body from being hit again. Where was Lulu? Where was the car full of people? Where was anyone who claimed to love him? There was a pizza box, a container that had chicken wings, and what I thought were napkins turned out to be money. His wallet and phone were on the ground too. He picked it all up, put it back in Tyrone's wallet, set it next to him, preserved the scene as best he could. Then the nurse and her husband arrived. They helped. They waited for EMTs. And here's the detail that should make your blood boil. I only found one phone. Just one. One phone. Not two. One. And more importantly, why did she wait so long to show up? The EMTs got there in about 4 or 5 minutes. Lulu showed up maybe 10 minutes later, maybe longer. They were already putting him in the back of the ambulance by the time she pulled up. She was very calm. She asked the EMTs if he was going to be okay, but she wasn't freaking out. She wasn't crying. She wasn't screaming. She seemed like it was just another day. Me and the nurse seemed a lot more concerned about his well-being than she did. The stranger cared more than the girlfriend.
And I want y'all to pay detail to everything that's being said. Pay attention. This right here is the first interview with the person who found Dro up under that bridge. How you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. From my understanding is you very well the Tyrone Davis Jr. story, and I'm pretty sure that you have seen stuff that transpired on social media. And from my understanding, that's how you figured out who was that person up on that bridge and who his relatives or family might have been. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I had no idea who he was when I first came on him, and I just thought he was just some guy. And I called 911, and they took him away, and that was the last I had heard of anything for I think it was like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing all of these different posts popping up with Dro's pictures saying "Justice for Dro" and stuff like that. And I was like, wait a minute, this looks a lot like the guy that I found. And so I started digging even deeper, and I sent the posts and stuff like that to my girlfriend. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the guy I found underneath the bridge the other day. And I had started doing more digging and read the story where somebody had found him under a bridge, and that his girlfriend and him had gotten in a fight. And then I saw that she had a boot on her foot, and that was the same girl that I had seen pull up to the scene after he was being put in the ambulance. And so that was what confirmed it. I was like, that is the guy. So I reached out. I reached out to the poster of one of the posts, and they got me in contact with his grandma and his cousin.
Okay.
And then they got in contact with me.
Okay. Y'all share this live. Y'all share this live right here. Because everything that you about to hear gonna shock the nation. Y'all make sure y'all share this live. I need everybody to share this live right now. This live gotta be shared around the nation, man. I need everybody to share this live because the testimony that you about to hear is gonna shock the nation, and the fights that's surrounded by what happened to Tyrone Davis, what was seen up on that bridge, what took place when the EMT showed up. what happened when Lulu showed up, the expressions, everything that took place from the eyewitness eyes himself is about to be exposed right now. So I need y'all to share this live, man. Share this live and make sure everybody get this live. Sir, at this time, I'm going to address you as John Doe. I'm going to address you as John Doe to protect your identity. So your name is John Doe at this present time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, John, when you arrived on the scene and you found Dro, how did you particularly find Dro, and where was Dro located when you found Dro?
So when I pulled up, he was underneath the bridge on Archer Road, and so when I first pulled up, he I didn't even realize it was a human being laying in the middle of the street, because there was, like I said, there was like, it looked like trash and like napkins and stuff like that just blowing around. So I thought there was a bag of trash in the middle of the street that had gotten blown open or something like that. And then, because it was getting darker in the evening, and when I pulled up, I realized that there was a whole man laying in the middle of the street. So I used my car to block traffic, and I jumped out and ran up to him. And that was when I realized that he was unconscious and he was just laying there. And so people were like honking at me and stuff like that because they couldn't see him in front of my car. And I ran up to him and I kept asking him, like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he was completely unresponsive. He was breathing and he was groaning, but he wasn't awake at all. So then a nurse and her husband came and pulled up around me. They were going
Okay,
around
let
and
me let me
saw.
let me let me stop you right there.
Okay.
When you arrived in the scene, what color was your car?
Black.
Your
There's a
car was
black.
black. It
Mhm.
was a reporter, a red car on that scene. Can you verify who red car you presume or think that was?
That was the nurses, the off-duty nurses' car and her husband's.
Okay, when you say that stuff was scattered all across the road. Can you give me a description of what was all scattered across that road?
So there was a Papa John's pizza box, and like a container that was holding chicken wings and stuff like that. And then what I thought were napkins and pieces of paper flying around that turned out to be money. And so there was like money flying around, and then his wallet and phone were on the ground too.
At that time when you arrived on the scene, how many cell phones were presented there?
Just the one that I found. I just found one.
You only found one phone. So from reading paperwork and documents from the crime scene, or what took place or what they did allegedly document, can you give me an idea of how the money or anything got moved from out that road?
I picked it all up and I put it back in his wallet.
And when you picked everything back up, where did you put it?
I put it in his wallet with his phone, and I set it right next to him.
When you put it there, did you notify when law enforcement showed up? Did you notify them and get them and let them know exactly where it was put at?
Yes, sir. Immediately. Yep.
And at that time, what did law enforcement do?
They grabbed the wallet and phone. They set it up on the wall right next to where everything was going on, right under
And,
the bridge.
and from my understanding, you did talk to law enforcement and you provided law enforcement with your name. And at no time did law enforcement ever reach back out to you to get your sworn statement.
No, sir. I had to reach out to them.
And what was that person that you reached out to?
The detective Doss.
Okay, in no time throughout this whole so-called investigation did Detective Dawson ever reach out back to you regarding the Tyrone Davis Jr. Situation.
Nope.
Okay, from the time that you found Tyrone Davis Jr. on the side of that road up under that bridge, can you give me as from my understanding the EMT ended up showing back up? Can you give me an idea of the timeline or how long it took the EMT to show up from the time that you found Dro? Because you say you did call 911 and notify law enforcement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it took EMTs about, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 minutes to get there.
Okay, so 4 to 5 minutes from the time that you found Dro. Can you give me an estimate time frame of how long it took before this so-called girlfriend? Because you say that the girlfriend did show up there, but can you give me a time frame of how long it took the girlfriend to show up from the time that you found Dro up under that bridge?
probably 10 minutes or so, maybe longer. They were already putting him in the back of the ambulance by the time she showed back up.
Okay, since she showed up so late, from my understanding, her first story that she gave out was that he had fell at a store and bumped his head. Then she later changed her story and say that, oh, that he fell or he jumped out of the car up on the bridge. From your experience, from what you have seen since you was there first, before anybody else, can you tell me what Tyrone Davis' body looked like, and do it look like a person that had jumped out the car on purpose from what you had seen?
No, no, it didn't look like he had jumped out of the car at all. It looked like, I mean, he had like a small scrape on his shoulder and a small scrape on the back of his head, but it didn't look to me like he had jumped out of a moving vehicle by any means, like not on purpose.
Okay, from the time that Lulu showed up on the scene, when Lulu showed up on the scene, how did Lulu act and how did Lulu respond? How was Lulu's face expression when she seen Tyrone Davis get put in that EMT?
She asked the EMTs like, "Is he going to be okay?" But she was very calm. Like she wasn't freaking out or anything. Like she seemed like it was just like, another day. I guess is the only way to describe it. Like she didn't seem all that worried.
From everything that you've seen, observing her and watching her on that scene, did it make you feel like that she really didn't care about what was going on, and it was
That's
like a normal
Yeah,
feeling, like, oh
that's
man,
basically
okay.
what came off to me. Yeah, it seemed like she wasn't all that worried. Like it was just, like this happened all the time or something.
So she wasn't hysterical. She wasn't crying. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't doing nothing. Now this is the person that
No,
she claimed that she loved, and the person who gave her the world and gave her whatever she wanted and made sure she was happy. And you mean to tell me that when she arrived on that scene, that she didn't have no remorse, no emotions, no nothing? Because she said he jumped out the car, and if he jumped out the car, it's obvious that you would turn around and checked on your man. So you tell me when she showed back on the scene, she had no emotions?
yeah, no. I thought at first I didn't even know that she was like a girlfriend of his or anything. She seemed like somebody else that had just seen what happened or something. Like she didn't. We like me and the nurse seemed a lot more concerned about his well being than she did.
Okay, and I'm gonna give some clarification because just in case people feel like this is a host or this is set up or whatever. Can you clarify? At that time when you found Dro or what's up? Because I had already spoke about certain things. What did you take or what's up, and what did you send out or what's up? That pertaining to Dro.
I sent her. I sent his grandmother and the cousin the pictures of the scene of when I found him, because I didn't know if somebody was going to be looking for him or not, because there's a lot of homeless people that are under that bridge and stuff like that. So I didn't know if he got hit by a car. So I took a picture of him just in case anybody was looking for him. So when I finally got in contact with them, I sent them the pictures and the video from the scene from immediately while it was happening.
And at that time, they told you not to don't pass these pictures around, don't post these pictures out of respect until they figure out what's going on. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I have some of them pictures, and I was actually gonna post them inside my private chat, but I stalled posting them. But the reason why I didn't post them because it was moles inside the chat. But the thing about them pictures is that in order to have them pictures, a person had to be there present at that time because even AI cannot recreate these pictures. Oh, what? So I
No,
just wanted to
yeah.
verify, clarify, get transparency, that what place you there and the steps that you did take, because I know you did take pictures of Tyrone Davis and you did take multiple pictures of his body at the scene, and that what made people believe that this was not no accident. Based on the pictures and based on the footage and based on everything that you provided, it concluded that this was no accident.
Yeah. It didn't seem like an accident to me.
From the time the EMT left, when she pulled up in that car, did you have a chance? Did she do you remember what type of car did she pull up in,
It
or
was
what
a
side? Well,
it
what
was
kind of
like
car
a
was it?
it was like a gray SUV, and she was driving. So it was like a gray SUV. I
It
can't
was
remember
like a
exactly what
grayish,
kind
a
it was.
grayish, a grayish SUV.
Yeah,
Mm. And she was driving. You say?
yeah.
Mm. Did you see anybody? Did you have a chance to see if anybody else was inside that car when she pulled up?
Nah,
from your
nah,
viewpoint?
there was nobody else inside the car that I saw.
Okay, and she was driving.
Yeah.
All right, when she got that car, she had that boot on,
Yep. Yeah, that's
and went
actually how I found out who she was later on.
based on that boot.
Yeah.
Okay, so when she got that car, when she was walking, did she walk like she was injured or hurt, or was she walking normal inside that boot
She was walking perfectly fine. Yeah, she was walking normally.
with the boot on?
Yep, with the boot.
So she wasn't moving because at the cabin she was moving like she was hurt. She was moving like she was so in pain, or was so she was moving slow steps, or was from the video footage from the cabin. So when she showed up on that bridge, you mean to tell me that she was walking perfectly normal with that with that boot on?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, like the way she was walking, it seemed like the cast was doing, or the boot was doing more to prevent her from walking than she probably could have done on her own.
When you found Tyrone Davis up on that bridge, can you tell me? Do you remember exactly what he had on? What type of clothes he had on, sir?
He had a white shirt and I think it was black shorts on.
White shirt,
So
black shorts.
white shirt, black shorts.
White shirt, black short. Can you tell me? Do you remember what type of shoes he had on?
I can't recall. I don't know if he had shoes on actually.
Okay. Okay. And you say at the time Tyrone Davis Jr. was still breathing. He's still breathing,
Yes.
but he was unconscious and he was groaning. The type of sound that you make when you have like a seizure or some type of, you know what I mean, you going through some type of trauma.
Yeah, yeah, like how you would if you got like knocked out.
Do you remember what she had on? What type of color clothes she had on?
I can't remember right off now. It's been a while now. I want to say maybe she had like a blue shirt on, but I can't remember right off.
That's understandable. It's been a little minute, you know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
might can't
yeah,
remember everything detail for detail. I understand that. Um, but I do know that you did take pictures. I know that you do take pictures. Them pictures do actually have timestamps. I
yeah,
do know
yeah.
that
They
you were
do.
present at the scene based on them pictures because there's nobody else has these pictures. You is the only person that has these pictures. Oh, I think we lost him.
That
We might have
sunk
lost.
in. Polo asked about the boot. Lulu's foot was in a cast, remember? She claimed she was injured. She moved slowly in the cabin videos. She played up the pain. But John Doe saw something different. She was walking perfectly fine with that boot on. Like the boot was doing more to prevent her from walking than she probably could have done on her own. So she could walk normally at the scene, but she could barely move at the cabin? That don't add up. That's not an injury. That's a performance. That's actually how I found out who she was later, by that boot. I saw her picture online and recognized the boot. A boot. A piece of medical equipment. That's what identified the girlfriend. Not her grief. Not her tears. Not her desperate pleas for his life. A boot. Here's where it gets even deeper. John Doe took pictures. He took video. He documented the scene exactly as he found it. And when he finally connected with Tyrone's family, he sent them those images. I sent them to his grandmother and cousin. I didn't know if somebody would be looking for him. I wanted them to know what I saw. Those pictures exist. They have timestamps. They show the pizza, the money, the position of the body, the guardrails, everything. And John Doe did what any responsible citizen would do. He gave his name to law enforcement. He waited for them to call. I reached out to Detective Doss myself. I sent him the pictures. I told him what I saw. And after that 5-minute conversation, he never contacted me again. Not once. It's been over 2 months. Detective Doss knew there was a witness, knew there were pictures, knew there was video, and he did nothing. When I finally got in touch with him, he seemed almost annoyed. Like me calling was messing up his day. He didn't seem worried at all. This is the man tasked with investigating Tyrone's death. This is the man who was supposed to find the truth. And he couldn't be bothered to follow up with the only witness who was there from the beginning. Polo asked him directly, "Do you think Tyrone was murdered?" I don't believe he caused his own demise at all. I believe there's a lot more to this that we're not seeing. That's how I felt from the very start. So let's connect the dots. Lulu said he jumped, but the first witness on scene says his injuries didn't look like someone who jumped from a moving vehicle. Small scrapes, nothing catastrophic. Not the kind of damage you'd expect from a 25-mile-per-hour ejection. Lulu said she was right there. But she showed up 10 minutes after the EMTs, after a stranger had already blocked traffic with his car. Lulu said she was injured, but she walked perfectly fine in that boot. Lulu said she loved him, but she showed no emotion at the scene. No tears, no panic, no desperation. And the police? They had a witness. They had photos. They had video. They had a man willing to give a sworn statement. And they did nothing. They filed it away. They ruled it an accident. They moved on. But here's the thing about truth. It doesn't go away. It waits. It waits for someone to dig it up. It waits for someone to care enough to ask the right questions. It waited for Polo. It waited for this witness. And now it's waiting for you. Here's what I think. I think John Doe is telling the truth. His details are too specific, too consistent, too corroborated by the nurse's testimony to be fabricated. The pizza, the money, the one phone, the calm girlfriend, the indifferent detective. It all paints a picture that no amount of official paperwork can erase. I think Lulu's behavior at the scene tells us everything we need to know about her involvement. When someone you love is dying, you don't walk calmly in a boot. You don't show up late. You don't ask one question and then stand there like you're waiting for a bus. You lose your mind. You scream. You cry. You demand answers. She did none of that. I think the Gainesville Police Department knew they had a problem from day one. They knew they fumbled the investigation. They knew they didn't secure the scene. They knew they didn't pull camera footage. They knew they didn't interview the right people. So instead of admitting failure, they buried it. They ruled it an accident. They hoped the family would go away. They hoped the internet would move on to the next story. But the internet didn't move on. Polo didn't move on. The Davis family didn't move on. And now, a man who owes nothing to anyone has come forward to tell the world what really happened. The question is, what will GPD do now? Will they reopen the investigation? Will they finally interview John Doe? Will they look at those pictures with timestamps? Will they admit they were wrong? Or will they double down? Will they stick to the accident ruling because changing it would mean admitting liability? Will they let a potential murder go unsolved because solving it would cost too much? Tyrone Davis Jr. was somebody's son, somebody's father, somebody's friend. He deserved better than a stranger blocking traffic while his girlfriend took her sweet time showing up. He deserved better than a detective who couldn't be bothered to return a phone call. He deserved better than an accident ruling on a death that looks nothing like an accident. And those kids, those two beautiful children, they deserve to know the truth. Not the sanitized version. Not the official version. The truth. Here's what I need from you. Keep watching. Keep commenting. Keep sharing. Don't let this story die. If you know something about this case, say something. Send it to the Davis family. Send it to the private investigator. Send it to anyone who will listen. But don't stay silent. And to those of you sending super thanks on YouTube, we appreciate you. You are the reason we can keep doing this. You are the reason these stories stay alive. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is True Crime Unraveled. On YouTube, we're at True Crime Unraveled. On Facebook and TikTok, it's True Crime Unraveled TV. Follow us, subscribe, hit the bell, and keep this conversation alive. Drop your theories in the comments. We read every single one. The witness spoke. The truth is out. Now it's up to all of us to make sure it doesn't get buried again.
Lost him. We might have lost him. He gonna sit there. Okay, I know that at this time. Forget at this time. I know that nobody else has these pictures or whatsoever. The certain people were able to see these pictures, so therefore that's how we knew, and that's how we still know who was present, who was lying, and who was telling the truth. Because you have so many people that have tried to make it seem like there was an accident, but they didn't know that we had already seen the pictures that were taken by you at the crime scene. We just choose not to speak on that so early because you gotta really know who on what side, and people really fighting for justice. Because you had so many people that tried to make it seem like this man committed his own death. You had people making it seem like this was an accident, but they didn't know it was pictures that existed. And see, that's why I was explaining to the world that a lawyer is needed, because you have a key witness that was on the scene that reached out to law enforcement, and GPD failed to do their job. And by them failing to do their job, it opened up a door for a civil lawsuit against the city. Because you was the person on the scene, you provided pictures. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you provide them same pictures to Detective Doss?
Yes, yes.
And at no time did he reach out to you to get your statement.
Did no, yeah, yeah. In fact, when I got in touch with him, he seemed almost like not that worried about what was going on. Like it was almost like me calling him was in like it was like messing up his day. Like
Sure.
I don't know, like he didn't seem worried at all.
And from my understanding, this is nothing new in Gainesville.
No, no, it's not. Like, I mean, GPD is pretty well known for being like nonchalant about a lot of cases that are going on. Like,
Is
they
this
just don't seem to care.
is this a big problem in the minority, or let's say the black community, that a lot of cases like this get brushed up under the rug?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They,
And this coming
in fact,
and this coming from a Caucasian man. Or what's your so it's you know what I mean? It's you putting this shit on the floor. That Gainesville Police Department failed to do proper investigation when it comes to the minority, or it comes to people of color skin.
I believe that completely. Yes. Yep.
And at that time, even at that time, and even to now, you were still willing to provide your statement to Detective Doss, but Detective Doss failed to reach out to you or come see you about this investigation. And you have been waiting 2.5 months, waiting on the
Yeah.
detective to reach out to you, to give you, so you can give your full recount of what took place and what happened. And the
Yep.
detective still failed to reach out to you.
Yep. To this day, I still have not heard from him. The only reason I heard from him that one time was because his grandmother sent me the info to get in touch with him, and I sent him the pictures, and that was the last I talked to him, and that was only about a 5-minute conversation.
And ever since that 5-minute conversation, Detective Doss have not reached out to you not one time.
Nope.
And I'm gonna make this clear: you're not homeless. You are working, abiding by citizen inside Gainesville, Florida. So there's no reason why he should treat you like they normally treat homeless people up under the bridge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that Tyrone Davis Jr. was possibly murdered, or a crime was committed and this wasn't an accident? Your personal opinion. This is only your opinion. Do you believe that something happened to Tyrone Davis and he did not cause his own demise?
I don't believe he caused his own demise at all. I believe that there's a lot more to this that we're not seeing, and it's been that way from the very start. That's how I felt about it.
Exactly. And I just want to say, man, I appreciate. I know a lot of people, and I ask you that because you have people that gonna ask, did you ever attempt to go to law enforcement? And I just wanted to clarify that and let it be known that you did reach out to them. You did try to tell them what was going on, and you did try to give them exactly what you seen, play by
Yes,
play.
sir. Yes,
And they
sir.
failed to do a proper investigation, which resulted in them ultimately saying that it was an accident, which they still haven't provided proof to show it was an accident. Because for a medical examiner to deem something an accident, per protocol, you must provide proof. But they can't provide proof, and they won't change it and give it a different ruling, because to do so will open up a civil lawsuit against the city. And we all know, in I think that subdivision 8, I think that medical examiner worked in section 8, so they both tie to tie with the same city. Even the girl Lauren, you know what I mean, she work up under the medical examiner inside Gainesville, Florida. And one thing about these medical examiners, when they work with the city, they won't go against the city. They gonna rule in the favor with the city. And that's why it's so smart and so good to order your own private autopsy report done when you know shady business had took place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And if this is one of my loved ones, I would be doing the same exact thing. I'd be very upset because it seems like nothing has been. It seems like the city wants this to go away. Like they don't want to have to deal with it, especially considering Dro being from out of town. It seems like they just don't want this to be hitting headlines that they didn't do an adequate investigation.
And you know the crazy part about it is, I believe that. And the reason why I believe that because Gainesville, Florida is the home of the University of Florida. It is a college town. In order to make this, and this is why I tell people the reason why you want your own autopsy report done, because to make it seem like a murder took place inside a college town is scary. Or well, it's a lot of money that comes to the city. It's already enough bullshit that go on inside the city. But for somebody to come from out of town and to be murdered or killed inside Gainesville, Florida, it shakes the whole city up. It creates a whole different narrative where you have a lot of college students that travel from other cities and other towns to go to school here.
Right. Yeah. You wouldn't want your kid going to a college where they're having uninvestigated murders and crimes happening. So it would look good. It would look really bad on their image.
Can you do you recount what side of the road Tyrone Davis was on?
So it was on the right hand side. It was on the same side as the Circle K that Lulu was saying that she was at.
All right. So
So
for those who don't know what Circle K is on, okay, if you're traveling southbound, you will be on the side of McDonald's. If you're traveling southbound, no, if you're traveling northbound, you will be on the side of McDonald's. If you're traveling southbound, you will be coming down the opposite way. That means you coming off the turnpike, coming into Gainesville. That would be the side that Tyrone Davis was found on. The same side
yeah.
that'll take you straight to Circle K.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be southbound. Yep.
Okay, when you found him, was he close by the guardrails or was he directly in the middle of the road?
He was in the middle of the street. Yeah.
In the middle, in the middle, right in the middle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So it's three lanes, and he was in the right hand lane, but in the middle of that lane.
Okay, okay. Um, Let me see. I'm seeing if any questions. I'm looking for some questions inside the comments. See, can I get a question? I know somebody got a question. Okay, but see, the thing we had come to realize when they had ruled it an accident, that's what the original report was. When they made it seem like it was an accident. And then when the medical examiner confirmed, oh, we're gonna make it an accident, not one time they ever provided proof. But to cover their trail, because you can't rule it nothing different because no investigation was done, no witness statement was took, no cameras were full. So much things went wrong in the beginning. The ball been fumbled. It been fumbled from day one. So
Oh,
the
for
only
sure.
possible thing they could do is rule an accident. But they know they're wrong by ruling it an accident. That's why a private autopsy report must be done. That's why you gotta hire a lawyer. They know what they just did was wrong. Even ruling it, the medical examiner ruling it an accident to go along with what the city already said was wrong. And the only way you're gonna be able to fight them is you gotta hire a lawyer. They know the government lied, the city lied, the prosecutor lied. They do a lot of shady business and they brush it up on the rug. And they hope that people just go on about their business. But at times like this where you gotta apply straight pressure. You know what I mean? Because the government in the courtroom, they do a lot of shit they know they're wrong by doing. And then you got people that fight and file appeals and motions. And then you see them 18 months later, it get overturned. They knew what they did was wrong, but they want to make you work for it. And that's why you got to put the boots on the ground when it comes to your loved ones and it comes to people you care about. You can't let up. You got to keep applying pressure and put your foot on their neck. And that's the only way you're going to get justice and get answers that you rightfully deserve. His kids deserve answers. His family deserve answers. The family who want to know the truth deserve answers. His cousin deserve answers. People that love him dearly deserve to know what hell happened and who the hell responsible, and they need to be held accountable. Bottom line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I completely 100% agree. And like you said, they just want people to move on with their day and pretend like it didn't happen. And I think it's great that everybody's coming together to find the truth for Dro because, like I said, I just thought he was just some other guy. If it wasn't for everybody loving him as much as they did, I wouldn't have ever known about any of this. I would have never. I would have moved on with my life, and just like in my mind thought that he pulled through and that he was okay, and moved on with my life. If it
But
wasn't for y'all doing this, I'd never would have known.
but you end up seeing all the pressure being applied and all the social media attention, and that what led you to reach out and
Yep.
finally come to the conclusion that this person was somebody. This person wasn't just somebody that was a person that was left on the bridge. It was a person who had a name. It was a person who had kids. It was a person that was loved by so many people. You know what I mean? When you see
Yeah.
the pressure being applied on social media, it made you realize that, hold up, something ain't right. Let me reach out to these people so these people could know what the hell took place and what I seen.
100%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's exactly right. Especially after I saw that he was such a committed father and had loved ones that cared for him so much. That was the first thing I wanted to do, is get in touch with somebody to let them know what happened when I showed up, so I could at least try to shine some light to give them the answers that they were looking for. I felt bad
I
that
just
it
want to
took
let you
so
know,
long.
man, you have shined so much light. You have put light in places that was dark. Or whatsoever, you have gave faces. You know what I mean? You have gave so much to a scenery that people try to keep hidden. Or whatsoever. And I know that sometimes it's hard for people to come do the right thing and speak on people's behalf, man. And because we live in a world where people say they want justice, but they really don't. We live in a world where people straddle the fence and they pick and choose who they want justice for. Or what's your soul to be a Caucasian man and to reach out, you know what I mean, with a situation that involved a black man. I just want to let you know, man, I salute you, man. I salute you, man. I appreciate, you
Yes,
know what I mean,
sir. Yes,
tapping
sir.
in, reaching out, joining the platform, joining the live, and speaking and putting this shit on the floor so people could know what the hell really took place up under that bridge.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I'm glad that I was able to help the best that I could. Absolutely.
Hey, listen here. The marathon continue and the fight for justice for Joe, it don't end. It just get even more deeper and more pressure get applied or whatsoever. But I just want you to know that when that time come, them people gonna make sure a thorough investigation gonna end up getting done, and you gonna be able to have your opportunity, you know what I mean, to do what's right and speak to them people because some of fact is that was neglect. How they handled this case was foul. They fumbled the ball and they brushed up under the rug. And these
Yes,
detectives
sir.
that played around, they need to be held accountable too. A civil lawsuit need to be filed against the city of Gainesville, but how they handle this case. That's
Completely
why
agree.
a lawyer gotta put pressure. A lawyer got to be put pressure because what happened to Tyrone Davis Jr. wasn't an accident. The man didn't deserve to die the way he did. The man left to go show love to somebody he felt like he cared about, just not to make it back home, just so his kids not to see him again, just for his father and everybody who loved him not to see him again. So when people scream justice for Joe, it's not just a word, it's a movement. And I appreciate you coming to the forefront and putting this shit on the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'll be right here if you need anything else. So just get in
Man, we
contact with me.
already know how to contact you, man. We're gonna stay in contact, man, and we're gonna keep these boots on the ground, man. I'm gonna let you go on about your day, let you go handle your business. What you did today is history. And I wanna let you know that you just mark your mark and you just put your foot on the ground and you just put that shit on the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think what y'all are doing is fantastic. You've got my support, and I hope that the answers come through. I hope the truth is found out, and I look very much forward to finding out that truth myself.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I thank you, man. And you
Yes,
have you a
sir.
blessed day.
You too. Thank you.
Y'all heard it. Heard it right here. Y'all heard it live. Y'all heard the recount of what happened up on that bridge. Regardless of what the medical examiner say, regardless of what the city say, regardless of what the detective claim he did. The truth is the truth. Tyrone Davis Jr. ain't deserve what happened to him. And for all the people that critics and had some negative say about Polo, this fake Facebook detective, just understand this right here. When God put his hands on you, can't nothing go against it. When God put his hands on you, can't nothing stop it. When God put his hands on you, even if the things that done in the dark will come to the light. Understand that. You may run and you may hide. And if you think I can't dig, you highly mistaken. You highly mistaken. It take balls, it take nuts. And once you get committed to do something that you firmly believe in, there's no man, no woman, no soul can convince him, deter him, stop him from his mission. Cause some things is personal. Understand that. Everything ain't about clicks and views. I have my own money. I done sold y'all that time and time and again. Keep thinking it's about money. Keep thinking it's about views. Keep thinking it's about clicks. But understand this, everything Polo speak about, he put that shit on the floor. He come with the receipts. The trolls don't play. Ladies, gentlemen, I just want y'all to know, man, the marathon continue. Even more pressure meant to be applied. And we care less about what police games get played. We care less about who you report. We care less about what detective you're working with. We care less about any of that. We don't care about what you go tell them. We don't care about you saying somebody harassing you. Bring the receipts. Because on this platform, we always drop that shit on the floor. Always. And we never miss. When you think we missing, that's when you thought wrong. Tyrone Davis Jr. voice. He might can't speak for himself, but it's a nation that's speaking for him. He might can't ride for himself, but it's an army that's riding for him. And everybody who switched up, and everybody who fell back, and all the homeboy that claimed this was your dog and you stood down when you supposed to put your boots on the ground. I hope today you feel like shit. I hope today it hurts you in your soul to know that. You failed. You failed your dog. You failed Dro. You failed the man that you were screaming. T2. You failed the man that showed love to you. You failed the man that had genuine respect for you. He trusted some of y'all and he should never have trusted y'all. Because you know why? It shows an army of strangers ride for somebody that the locals should have stood up for. But you didn't. And it's always like that. It's always the strangers from around the nation, from the outside cities that ride for you, but for your own city ride for you. And it's always been like that, and it would never change. But when you scream justice for Dro, that's what it is. Whether you like it or you don't. You can officially block yourself and remove yourself. For everybody who tuned in, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all stay focused. Y'all stay strong and don't let nobody deter you from seeking justice and finding the truth. Y'all be blessed.